Hello, beautiful ladies of the Yoga Sanctuary. This is Sarah here, and I haven't come on here, I feel like in a while on Facebook Live, although maybe I have. Maybe it's only been like a week. But I've been talking a lot about body shame lately, and I've been talking a lot about really just feeling amazing and comfortable in the body that you're in. And I know that a lot of you have a lot of issues in specific with belly fat. And it's a very confusing topic, I find, now within the health and wellness world, because we have so many people on one side being like, get rid of your belly fat, blast it, it's bad for you. And then we have people who are seemingly on the other side of the spectrum that are saying, love your body, be comfortable in the skin that you're in, there's nothing wrong with it. So I want to bring to you 5 things that you really need to know about belly fat and how you can make this decision for yourself. So basically, I know that a lot of you are in here because you want to change the course of your health. You want to change the course of your wellness. You know that you're out of shape. You know that you are struggling with your stress levels. You know that you're struggling with your me time. And I really want you to be able to take that back to you. Hey Lisa, how's it going? So that's what this is going to be all about. But you also need to, from this Facebook Live, from all of this messaging, to make your own decision on where you stand in terms of the spectrum of love your body, don't change it, and belly fat is really bad for you. You really need to change it for your health, okay? So, number 1, how does and why does belly fat become an issue for your health? Well, I'm sure that we all know that being overweight and a lot of excess fat in our bodies is leading us to disease. It's one of the main causes of so many diseases in North America and all over the world. It's a health epidemic, right? The more that we eat, especially the more junk food that we eat, the bigger we get and the less healthy we are and the less able our bodies are to combat any diseases. So, hey Marlana, how's it going? So, with that being said, one of the biggest areas of our bodies that we really need to watch out for, and that doctors are now saying, hey, this is probably the biggest area that we need to be concerned about, is our bellies. And that's because any fat that's around our bellies is usually fat that is from all of that junk food, all of that stress eating, and basically a whole bunch of fat that we don't need. However, okay, when we talk about that as a society, we're talking about both men and women, okay? And we all know that men and women have very different bodies, right? So you see a lot of men, I know that my dad has a little beer belly, and that is bad, right? But what about all the women who are in this group, all of the women around the world, you know, have had children, and especially all of the women who, a lot of them have really healthy belly fat. Like, where do we kind of go into the spectrum? And so I would encourage you to kind of just take that with a grain of salt and really try to see where you are functioning within that spectrum. So the first thing that I want to talk about, the difference between men and women, is that in order for men to be healthy, so there's this thing called body mass index, and it's BMI. So BMI stands for body mass index, and it's basically the percentage of fat that you have in your body. So for men to be healthy and for men to not have any hormonal changes in their bodies, they only need a 5% body fat. So they can go all the way down to only 5% of their total body mass being fat, and they are okay. For women to be okay, we need at least around 17% body fat, okay? 17%. So could you imagine 15% to 17%? That's a difference of 12%. So women need 12% more fat in their bodies than men in order for our bodies to function in a really healthy way, okay? If you get lower than that BMI of 17%, some women can do it. Once again, our bodies are all different, but if you get lower than 17%, chances are you're gonna start to mess up with your hormones. That's how a lot of women start losing their periods, and it's not a pretty thing, okay? What does that mean for our bodies, and what does that mean in terms of body fat? So when we think about our bodies, and especially with women, we tend to hold some fat in our bellies. And if you think about it in a primal way, if you think about it in a genetic way, women give birth through that area of our bodies, right? So genetically speaking and historically speaking, our bodies have now equipped us to be able to handle birth and to be able to deal with birth by giving us a little bit more extra fat in and around our bellies. So that is totally normal. And when you see, you know, like completely ripped women, with their six-pack abs, some women can hold that and they could be totally healthy and really, really amazing, and their bodies can be functioning amazing. But there are a lot of women as well who cannot get down to having a six-pack of abs without messing up with their hormones, okay? Without completely starving themselves. And so that's one thing that I really want everyone to take away from this little Facebook Live right here, is that getting down to super, super toned abs is not healthy for all women, okay? It doesn't mean that some women can't be, so if it doesn't mean that you see like a fitness model with a six-pack and she's not healthy, we don't know that. Some women can, some women can't, and it all depends on where our bodies store fat, okay? So that is something that is really important to consider as well. Where does your body in specific tend to store your fat? Because some women tend to store a lot more fat around their bellies than they do in their butts, for example, than they do in their chest. I know that I'm very small chested. I tend to store most of my fat in my body around my bum and around my thighs. And that is just how my body is. Even if I were to do 2 hours of yoga every single day, proportionately speaking, I'm always gonna have a little bit more fat around my legs and my bum than I will around my chest or around my arms. And some women are different. Some women primarily store their fat in and around their arms and their chest. However, when it comes to belly fat, one of the main reasons why a lot of women are having more belly fat lately is because of the stress hormone cortisol. So the stress hormone cortisol basically releases in your body when you're, oh my God, fight or flight response, when you're really, really anxious and just can't seem to relax. And that stress hormone tends to store fat in our belly areas, okay? So that is one of the reasons why so many women tend to have a little bit more fat in that area as well. Let me just see, I want to try to get on all of the points that I have here because I feel like this is such an important topic, okay? So in a way, your belly fat is healthy, okay? In a way, you having belly fat is a very, very healthy thing for your body, because if you have that little bit of belly fat, then your body is good, you're regulating your hormones, right? But now what we need to decipher, you and I, is how much of that belly fat that you have, how much of that is actually good, okay? Because we need it, but how much of that do we actually need? And so that's where all of these bad things come in, right? Like, how much do you stress eat is going to be a huge question to kind of determine if you have bad belly fat or if you have good belly fat. How much do you exercise? Do you actually get yourself out and moving every day? How much do you eat refined carbohydrates like pastas and like white bread? And how much do you indulge in sweets like donuts and chocolate chip cookies and all of that really, really good stuff? Okay, so you have to be really, really honest with yourself at this point in time, because that's when you're going to really kind of try to connect the dots. So remember, your body might naturally store fat in and around your belly, which is totally fine and normal, and that makes that belly fat amazing because we want it, because our fat content helps keep our hormones in check, right? But if you are stress eating, if you're overeating, if you're eating a lot of processed foods, and if you're stressing yourself all the time, chances are that some of that belly fat that you have is not good for your body, okay? So it's gonna look different from woman to woman. So my amount of belly fat from my body and my amount of healthy belly fat for my body is going to be very different from yours. And that's just because my body is made up differently. Like I said, I store primarily all of my fat in my bum. I have a very big bum and thighs, and even actually a little bit of my belly in comparison to my arms. Some of you might have bigger arms, bigger chest, and maybe bigger belly, but very, very slender legs. So that's really gonna be, it's gonna be different from person to person. And I would never want to, and I don't really want anyone here to kind of go over to a statistic and measure their bellies and be like, oh shit, my belly is too fat to be healthy and I really suck at life right now because I need a smaller belly, okay? In our society in specific, we tend to really enjoy looking at women with really small bellies, women with really ripped abs and things like that. It's not necessarily the healthiest thing either. It's just something that we as a society tend to enjoy, right? So you really need to decipher this for yourself and be honest with yourself. If you are eating really well, if you are practicing yoga or running or doing something at least 3 to 5 times a week, okay, and if you're not overindulging in sweets like every single day, and if you're not stressing out to the max every single day, then chances are your belly fat is healthy and it's normal, okay? So I really want you to go home and think about that and really look in the mirror and start to love your body in that way. If you fall into those categories, it doesn't mean that that you need to get rid of all of your belly fat. It just means that you're gonna wanna start really taking your health into your own hands to try and do things differently. Okay, I want to talk about something a little bit kind of interesting that not a whole lot of people know, but there's also another way that it makes us, our postural tendencies can also be very unflattering for our bodies, okay? So what do I mean by that? I have a condition that's called anterior pelvic tilt. And basically what that means is because I have sat for most of my life in 8-hour, like an 8-hour job every day, and because I was a student for so long, I have this really, really awful postural tendency where my hips come forward. Sorry, my hips go back. My hips go back. I think they go back. Anterior, posterior, yes. So they go back. So my hips go back, my bum goes back, and what happens with that is, I will show you. So, here's my belly, and here's my body, okay? So, this is really nice normal posture. So I'm drawing my shoulder blades down my back, I'm slightly relaxed, and I have a nice open chest, okay? When I catch myself in anterior pelvic tilt, I'm like this. Do you see how much my belly sticks out here? So like that, see my belly here, and like that. Do you see that? You guys can all see that, definitely. So, my anterior pelvic tilt, and I'm sure that for a lot of other women who are professional sitters, who tend to draw their shoulder blades in, anterior pelvic tilt is actually a very common postural tendency for women, especially for women who sit a lot. So you might just have a slight bit of anterior pelvic tilt. However, the more that you practice something like yoga to really increase good posture, the more that you can get rid of that anterior pelvic tilt, and the less you'll feel like you'll actually have a big belly, because your big belly isn't actually a big belly, it's just because you're shifting your hips back and you're shifting your belly forward. So that is a really interesting thing I wanted some of you to know. If you know what anterior pelvic tilt is, and if you have it, let me know. I can definitely show you a whole bunch of exercises from yoga that can help you to alleviate it. All right, so so this is my last little bit. We're going to talk about yoga and belly fat. Okay, so one thing that I said about belly fat, and one of the reasons why we get so much of it, especially the bad belly fat, is because of our stress primarily. And I really want you to start thinking about stress and emotional stress, because emotional stress is huge, especially for women. And our emotional stress is what is going to cause us to go into our fridge and eat comfort foods all the time, or to just kind of keep on eating because we feel like if we eat, we're gonna feel better. Emotional eating is a huge issue. I have it a lot. I get caught in it a lot. And something that can really, really help you to alleviate emotional eating is yoga, breathing techniques, and meditation. So the more that you can decrease your stress levels, the more that you can learn to fully take deep breaths in and take deep breaths out, and the more that you can alleviate your anxieties and your stress levels in general through meditation, the less you're gonna feel likely to binge eat or to go into your fridge to emotional eat and to overeat, because you're going to program your mind into thinking, actually, I already have enough because I'm not stressed out anymore and I don't need all of these other things. Okay, that's one way. Way number two to help you decrease your belly fat with yoga is to do your physical practice. So do your physical asana. So in specific, I teach power yoga. So power yoga is the yoga that's more strength-based. It's more cardio-based. It's basically more based on challenging your body continuously. So you're stretching, but at the same time, you're burning more calories, basically, with your power yoga. And we all know that burning calories is what's going to lead you to weight loss overall, in terms of why you do fitness to get fit, right? You're burning calories, and then when you're burning calories, you're burning fat. It's really, really simple in that way. The best way to burn fat is through high intensity workouts, and power yoga is considered a high intensity workout, especially the specific sequences that I sometimes do in my classes and with my clients. So like I said, I really want you to find where you are in that line of I'm eating really healthy, I'm doing really well with my life, I still have belly fat, but it's okay. And I have belly fat, I'm not eating very well, I'm not really taking good care of myself, I want to change my life around, okay? If you're falling on this side that I just said, so I'm doing really well with my life, I am eating really well, but I still have belly fat, this is where I want you to really utilize yoga with self-acceptance. And you can use it with self-acceptance on the other side as well. There's definitely no body shaming going on in yoga, ever. Okay? Because you can still practice self-acceptance while you're trying to lose weight. It's totally, totally normal, and it's something that you should definitely do if you're trying to lose weight. Self-acceptance is huge. It's going to make everything so, so, so much easier for you. So if you're on that side of the spectrum, and if you're kind of anywhere on the spectrum, but especially if you're there, just practicing looking at yourself in the mirror. And so I'm going to show you my belly again, because that's the whole point of this, right? So if I look at myself in the mirror and I see I can tone myself up right now, right? And I can also kind of relax myself. And so when I relax myself, I might feel like I'm a little bit softer, but I'm going to look in the mirror right now and I'm going to be like, you know what? This is soft, but soft is beautiful. And no matter what, and no matter how big my belly gets, no matter how big my love handles get, I'm beautiful. And I can look at my body, and I can look at my thighs, and I can look at my belly, and I can look at my bum, and I can say, you know what? This is beautiful. It's not fat, it's beautiful. Okay? The more that you can do that in the mirror, the more often you can do that in the mirror, the easier everything is going to be for you. And so when I was struggling, not necessarily just with belly fat, but mainly with my thighs. So that's something growing up that I absolutely hated, was my thighs, because I have my thighs come in right at my bikini line. I didn't like it. I think a lot of you got an email from me this week about my cellulite. And so that was one area that I just needed to look in the mirror, and instead of being like, oh, I want to get rid of them, I hate how big they are, I just had to keep on telling myself, actually, no, they're beautiful and they're the right size. And it feels really nice to have big thighs. Big thighs sometimes are kind of sexy. And so look at your body in a different way. Start to look at your body in a way where you're like, hey, this is actually really nice. Look how nice my thighs look. Or look how nice my belly looks. Look at all these really nice curves. If you have a significant other, you can ask them, how do you think my body looks, right? If you have a best friend, ask your best friend. So if you can't do it for yourself because you're too self-critical, then really ask that best friend of yours who you know is going to help you to make you feel better and to really see the worth and the value that's in your body, because we all have that worth and we all have that value, but we're not giving ourselves enough credit for it. Okay? So really, really, really think to yourself, be honest to yourself, where are you on that spectrum? Because not all of us are gonna have six-pack abs, and that is totally normal. And it doesn't have to be where you need to get to. What we wanna do, ultimately, when we wanna be healthy, we wanna be happy, right? And so if we're not happy in the process, if we're just starving ourselves just so we can look a certain way, and if we're not even enjoying those moments of being able to look a certain way because we're too afraid of gaining weight, then to me there's no point in it. We might as well just enjoy what we're doing while not giving ourselves that utmost discipline just so that we can have a certain physique. So I don't have any comments up here. I'm just going to quickly look to see if you guys are asking any questions. If you have any questions right now, just type in a comment below. And I'm just going to see if there's any comments on here as well. Oh, no comments so far. So if anyone who's watching right now, if you have any comments, if you have any questions about anything that I talked about, I would be happy to answer them for you. And I have a special treat for you just for this weekend. So for anyone who is watching, if you do want help with a specific topic, I am offering absolutely completely free 30-minute sessions with me. These are going to be either done on Skype, on Facebook Messenger, or on Zoom, sorry. And we can talk about all these issues. We can assess your fitness levels, we can assess your wellness levels, we can assess your stress levels, we can look at meditation, and we can look at specific body flows that are really going to help you feel amazing in your own body. So if that's something that you're interested in, I want you to comment yes below, and then I'm going to send you a link with my schedule so that we can set up a time this weekend to do that with you. Once again, it's totally free. It's my treat. I really want to help you with this because I think that this is such a huge issue for women. So if you're still watching up until this point and you're interested in that, comment yes below. And if you have any other questions, ask them below. And I'll be here for about a minute longer just to see if there's anyone who has any pending questions about all this. I know that Facebook Live can sometimes be a little bit slow. I'm just going to be here for a few more seconds. And even if I don't see your comment right now, I'll see it later. You can tag me in your comment, and then I'll be able to answer you. So NCA says yes, awesome. NCA, oh, Amelia says yes, awesome, cool. I will message both of you about doing this reassessment. I'm really excited to get into this with you. Cool, okay. If no one has any other questions, I'm sure that some of them will come in. Lisa Ann says, love the video. Thanks so much, Lisa. I'm so glad that you liked it. Yeah, let me know. If you're watching the replay, just let me know. You can comment yes below in the replay, and you can answer any questions, or sorry, ask any questions that you have. But once again, always think about that spectrum. Try to be really honest with yourself. Where are you on that spectrum, and how can you practice self-acceptance in the process? Because yoga can definitely help you with anywhere that you are on that spectrum. And always just remember to treat your body with respect, no matter where you are in the process of trying to lose weight or just trying to accept yourself the way you are. All right? Thank you, ladies. Have a great Thursday. See you later. Bye.